Discipline, that is not punishment. Discipline is power. Most people spend their entire lives saying they want freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, emotional freedom, freedom to travel, freedom to choose, freedom to say no. But there is something curious. The same people who say they want freedom run from the only thing capable of giving it to them: discipline. They want the results, but reject the process. They want the reward, but avoid the effort. They want transformation, but resist change. And that is why nothing changes. If you want 2026 to be different, you must understand something. The year will not change you. You must change before the year begins. There is a modern fantasy being sold every single day. Do what you love. Follow your passion. Work only when you feel motivated. Wait for the right moment. But no one talks about waking up early when your body begs for 5 more minutes. No one talks about continuing when no one is applauding. No one talks about doing what needs to be done when you don't feel like it. The truth is simple and hard. If you only act when you are motivated, you will live an average life. Because motivation is emotion, and emotion is unstable. Some days you feel unstoppable. Other days you want to quit everything. If your life depends on your mood, your success will be unpredictable. But discipline ignores your mood. Discipline ignores fear. Discipline ignores laziness. Discipline acts anyway. Discipline is the ability to govern yourself. It's not about controlling the world. It's about controlling your decisions. It's getting up when you want to stay down. It's working when you want to stop. It's training when you want to rest. It's studying when your mind craves distraction. Discipline is emotional maturity. It is understanding that what you feel right now cannot decide your future. You are not your temporary desire. You are your repeated choices. And every choice you make is shaping who you will be in 2026. Every single day, you are voting for a version of yourself. When you procrastinate, you vote for the weak version. When you execute, you vote for the strong version. When you quit, you vote for mediocrity. When you persist, you vote for greatness. There are 2 inevitable pains in life: the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. The pain of discipline is temporary. It shows up when you wake up early, when you finish the workout, when you say no to distractions. It's uncomfortable, but it passes. The pain of regret, that one is silent. It shows up years later when you realize you could have done more, that you could have been more, that you had potential, but lacked consistency. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. Ask yourself, how do you want to feel at the end of 2026? Proud or frustrated, transformed, or the same? The decision begins now. There is an internal dialogue happening inside you every day. Just today. I'll start tomorrow. I deserve to rest. It won't make a difference. That is the voice of your weak version trying to survive. And every time you give in, it grows stronger. Discipline is ending the negotiation. You don't ask if you're comfortable. You execute. You don't wait to feel like it. You act. You don't depend on motivation. You depend on commitment. Disciplined people are not special. They simply decided to stop negotiating with their excuses. Discipline is not born ready. It is built, and you build discipline the same way you build muscle: repetition, consistency, progression. First, start small, but start firm. Don't promise to wake up at 5 a.m. if you wake up at 9 a.m. Start by waking up 30 minutes earlier. Don't promise 2 hours of training. Start with 20 minutes. Don't promise to read 50 books. Start with 10 pages a day. Small wins build confidence. Confidence builds consistency. Consistency builds identity. Second, eliminate distractions. You don't need more willpower. You need fewer temptations. Distance yourself from what drains your energy. Reduce useless consumption. Protect your attention like it's gold, because it is. Third, establish fixed standards. Same time, same ritual, same commitment. Don't depend on emotion, depend on structure. Discipline is not intensity, it is regularity. When you become disciplined, you start trusting yourself, and that changes everything. You stop making empty promises and start keeping your word. Your self-esteem grows, your posture changes, your energy shifts. Because you know, you do what needs to be done, and slowly, results appear. Not explosively, but consistently. Money grows, your mind strengthens, your body responds, opportunities emerge, not because the world decided to help you, but because you became prepared. Discipline builds competence, competence builds value, value builds freedom. Freedom is not doing everything you want. That is impulsiveness. Freedom is being able to do what is necessary. It is having control over your impulses, control over your time, control over your decisions. An undisciplined person is a slave to their own desires. A disciplined person is the owner of their destiny. You want financial freedom? Discipline in investing, discipline in work, discipline in spending. You want physical freedom? Discipline in nutrition, discipline in training, discipline in rest. You want mental freedom? Discipline in thoughts, discipline in focus, discipline in priorities. Freedom is not the absence of rules, it is self-mastery. If you want 2026 to be the year of transformation, don't wait for January, don't wait for Monday, don't wait for motivation. Start today, start tired, start afraid, start small, but start, because discipline is freedom, and the freedom you desire is hidden in the effort you avoid. 1 year from now, you will either thank yourself for starting or wish you had. The choice is yours, it always has been. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is power. Discipline is self-respect. Discipline is the path. Discipline is freedom. There is a silent sentence that destroys more dreams than failure ever could. There's still time. You say it at 20. You repeat it at 25. You convince yourself at 30. You whisper it at 40. There's still time. But time never announces when it's running out. Every day you delay is a day you hand your future to comfort, and comfort has never built greatness. Discipline understands something most people ignore. Time is not renewable. You can recover money, you can rebuild strength, you can regain momentum, but you cannot reclaim yesterday. 2026 is not waiting for you to feel ready. It is approaching with or without your preparation. The question is not whether time will pass. The question is, will you grow while it does? If you want to know who you will be in 2026, look at your habits today. Your body reflects your consistency. Your bank account reflects your decisions. Your confidence reflects the promises you keep or break. The mirror does not judge. It simply reveals patterns, and discipline is the force that changes patterns. You don't change your life in one dramatic moment. You change it in ordinary, repeated actions. What you tolerate daily becomes your reality permanently. If you tolerate laziness, you become average. If you tolerate excuses, you become stuck. If you tolerate inconsistency, you become unstable. But when you tolerate only excellence from yourself, everything changes. Transformation does not happen on extraordinary days. It happens on normal ones, on the random Wednesday, on the quiet Sunday morning, on the evening when no one is watching. Anyone can perform when inspired. Very few perform when uninspired. That is where discipline separates ordinary people from extraordinary ones. It is easy to work hard when you feel powerful. It is rare to work hard when you feel tired. And that rarity creates value. The days you don't feel like showing up are the days that define you. Because when you show up anyway, you train your mind to obey you, not the other way around. Most people are controlled by impulses. They eat when they crave. They scroll when they are bored. They quit when it gets uncomfortable. They delay when it feels hard. They believe freedom means following every feeling. But that is not freedom. That is slavery to impulse. True freedom is command. When you say wake up, you wake up. When you say work, you work. When you say stop, you stop. Your mind must learn that your word is final, because if you cannot control your own actions, you cannot control your future. Discipline is training your mind to follow orders, your orders. There is a war happening inside you every day, the comfortable version and the disciplined version. The comfortable version wants ease. The disciplined version wants growth. The comfortable version seeks pleasure. The disciplined version seeks progress. One gives you comfort now and regret later. The other gives you discomfort now and pride later. And every decision you make feeds one of them. You are not stuck, you are choosing. People say they lack discipline, but most of the time they lack structure. If you wake up without a plan, you default to comfort. If you start your day without intention, distractions will control you. Structure removes negotiation. When you decide in advance what must be done, you eliminate emotional debate. This is why successful people build routines. They don't wake up asking, "What do I feel like doing today?" They wake up knowing. Same time, same focus, same execution, because structure protects you from yourself. You underestimate small actions, but small actions repeated daily become unstoppable force. Reading 10 pages per day equals 3,750 pages per year. Saving a small percentage consistently builds wealth. Training 30 minutes daily transforms your body. Improving 1% every day makes you unrecognizable in a year. The problem is not that people don't want change. The problem is they want immediate change. Discipline understands the power of accumulation. It understands that greatness compounds, and compounding only works with consistency. There will be moments in 2026 when you feel like stopping, when progress feels invisible, when effort feels unrewarded, when doubt becomes loud. That is the test. Not when it's exciting, not when it's new, but when it's repetitive. Discipline is continuing when the emotion fades. It is honoring the commitment even when the excitement disappears. Because excitement starts journeys, but discipline finishes them. Comfort feels cheap, but it costs you everything. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you reinforce weakness. Every time you avoid discomfort, you shrink your potential. Growth requires friction. Strength requires resistance. Success requires sacrifice. You cannot evolve while protecting your comfort at all costs. Choose strategic discomfort. Choose long-term gain over short-term relief. Choose progress over pleasure. Discipline without direction is wasted energy. You must define your target. Who do you want to become by the end of 2026? Stronger, wealthier, more focused, more confident. Be specific. Clarity eliminates confusion. Discipline executes clarity. Without clarity, you drift. Without discipline, you stall. Picture yourself 1 year from now. Same habits, same excuses, same routines. Does that version of you feel powerful or disappointed? Now imagine a different version. Waking up earlier, moving with intention, executing daily, building strength, growing income, sharpening focus. That version exists, but it requires discipline. Not occasionally, not emotionally, daily. The person you will become in 2026 is watching your decisions today. Every excuse shapes them, every action strengthens them. You are either building someone proud or someone full of regret, and no one else can make that decision for you. Discipline is not glamorous. It is quiet, it is repetitive, it is invisible, but its results are undeniable. You don't need more motivation. You need standards, you need structure, you need commitment, you need discipline, because discipline is freedom. Freedom from laziness, freedom from inconsistency, freedom from dependence on mood, freedom from regret. 2026 can be the year everything changes, but only if you decide that comfort is no longer your priority. Only if you decide that growth is non-negotiable. Only if you decide that your future matters more than your feelings. Discipline is not restriction. It is expansion. It expands your capacity. It expands your confidence. It expands your opportunities. It expands your life. And it starts with one decision. Today, right now, discipline is freedom.